Hey guys, I'm working on giving you feedback on your tech set project, the planning documents that you submitted on Sunday. And I hope to have everyone's comments and feedback done within the next couple of days. You'll find those in Google on your document. You'll be able to see my comments. And in Blackboard, you'll see that I've given you the point for turning your document in once I'm done giving you feedback. So that's how you can check to see if I've given you feedback yet. In the meantime, though, I wanted you to be able to continue to work on that tech set project. So I wanted to give you some general feedback that kind of applies to several of the documents I've already looked at. So some things that you can already be thinking about to be aware of. So if you'll look at the example, and remember this example is posted in Blackboard in Module 5, and I strongly encourage you to look at the example as you're working on your own. This would have been a project that received an A, maybe not a 20 necessarily, but an A. So this is a good example to look at. And some things I wanted to point out that this student did within their project. Notice that this is their final copy, so it's been reformatted. It's not in that same chart template. Remember, your final needs to be the same. But when we look at why the student chose the text, if you look at what I've highlighted in blue, look at how explicitly this student talks about the choice of the text and how it relates to our module readings. What I'm seeing in some of your projects is that you are name dropping. You're giving me a citation of an article that you read, but you're not connecting that to what you're saying about your text. So make sure that, yes, you need to cite your source, but you need to connect what you're citing, that actual idea from that source material, to what you're saying. Um, Again, when we look at the diverse learners section, make sure you are actually talking very explicitly about how this text helps you teach a diverse set of learners. Now, to do that, you're going to have to think about a diverse classroom as you choose your texts rather than just trying to make something fit. So, if we look at the student example, it helps to incorporate diverse learners because it tells about a group that's often marginalized when it comes to the teaching of history, which is women. And then it goes on to talk about how women are represented in this document. And then it gives me a couple of citations from our module readings. But then look at the last sentence and how it connects those module readings to what they've been writing about in this text set project. For this reason, referring to that citation, using the experience of a woman to teach history will help put it through a cultural filter that many women are more likely to understand and respond to. That is the type of explicit statement that I need to see to show that not only have you read the course materials, but that you understand how they should be influencing your choice of text and how you plan to teach your content area with those texts. Okay. Again, when we get to D, how would you be using this text in your classroom? Make sure you're not saying I could do this. What do you plan to do? This is almost like giving me your lesson plan, except you can see it doesn't have to be nearly as detailed. But tell me, would it come at the beginning? Would it be used in conjunction with other texts? And for what reason? So you can see again, I have another citation, and I should see a citation in every section of your text set project as you discuss each text. Each section should have a citation, but it should also connect to what you're talking about. I want to mention the reflection as well because that's not something I see in your planning document. Um, but your reflection should also have cited references to course readings, more than one, and should just tie together everything within your project as you reflect on your project as a whole. So if you have specific questions about any of those things, please feel free to contact me. I highly recommend that you guys look back at some of our readings from the course. Particularly diverse learners seems to be a point a lot of you are struggling with. So if you'll go back to Module 2 and look at some of those articles that we read about diverse learners, I mean, there are some very specific lists of things that might help you there about how to appeal to diverse learners and ways that you can do that. So if I can
if you are struggling with citations themselves, there are tons of resources online to help you with APA format. You can look at online writing labs and their directions for APA format. You can look at some citation generators. You can literally Google, how do I cite a picture book in APA format? So make sure that you're doing that, because your format for your citations is something that I'm paying attention to. And then make sure that as you discuss your module readings, I keep saying you have to have those cited references, but you actually do need an in-text APA citation there as well. Remember that your final project will be submitted both on Blackboard and in TaskStream. So make sure that if you have questions, you ask before you submit it. Once it's submitted to TaskStream, that is your final submission. Once you submit to Blackboard, that's your final submission. So ask those questions as you have them. I'm happy to answer them as I